education moment. Today, that's the wrong today. Oh, that's not good. That's last week's.
I was emailed what I got last night, so I don't know.
Crap. All right, well, today we're going to talk about the I personality style. So we're going to be a little different here. So the I's, who is a self-identified I? Okay, 3, 4. Okay. So the I's are about 11% of the population, and they're the influencing, interactive, they're interested in people, and they're very people-oriented, but they're also very active. So how do you know if you're talking to an I? So this is not what it's supposed to be, but if you say to somebody, so tell me about yourself, and they start talking about their stories, and they tell you more stories. They talk about what their kid did, what their dog did, what they did back in college. They're an I, because they're telling you stories. They're talking about all kinds of different stories. So, the I style.
This helps you scroll through.
Yes, that helps. Okay. So the strengths of the I is they're going to be a very talkative person. They're going to like to tell stories. They have to be the life of the party. So I want to do a little thing here. So for all of you I's, put your hands up if you identify as an I. Okay. No, okay. So now, when this is for everybody in the group. When your birthday comes around, who celebrates one day? Put your hand up if you have a celebration on one day.
I'm not a birthday week individual.
Yeah, if you celebrate for a week, put your hand up.
That's the woman thing.
No, not as many? Okay. So typically the I's are going to be the ones who are going to celebrate for longer periods of time.
I tried the whole month.
You try the whole month, yeah. So the I's, they're energetic. They have this ability to talk to people, to pull them in. They're a people person, and they really want to get to know you and have fun with you. And you're going to know it because they're very wide open with their body language. They're going to tell you stories as they're talking about this stuff. But their emotional needs, they're a high energy style. And this is hard to do without my glasses. It's rough getting old.
Yeah, I got you on that one.
That's
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I have so
You
many
never
emails.
know.
So let's see. They want to be appreciated for who they are. Now looking at the D's, they wanted to be appreciated for the things that they do. They need to drive things forward. It's the I's want to be appreciated for who they are. And having fun is their primary need. So that's what they want to do, is to have fun. Now their weakness is they can be a compulsive talker. Just talk a lot. So you have to listen to that and let them tell their stories. They can also tend to exaggerate and elaborate. The fish was this big.
It always is.
Yeah, and they lose track of time because they're so busy telling stories. If you have a one-to-one with somebody and 3 hours later you look at your watch and you're trying to get out of there, you're probably doing with an I.
Brad.
Why does everybody keep looking at me?
They
They might
get
be looking at me.
they get easily distracted, and sometimes their priorities might be out of order because they're not on task. They're too busy trying to have fun with what they're doing.
Well,
Yeah, exactly. But their greatest fear is social rejection. So we need to keep that in mind. Is if you're selling to an I, they don't want to be socially rejected. They want to have you pull them in, have fun, and enjoy life. So the characteristics is they're very verbal, they're very persuasive, they like to talk a lot, they're going to suck you into it. And let's see, if they get antagonized, they'll like to negotiate. And they are the eternal optimist. So if you meet somebody who's an eternal optimist, they're probably an I. Now, if you're communicating to an I style, you've noticed that someone comes in, they're an I, they're telling you stories. We need to dial back our communication and tell them stories about people. Go to where they are. And then use lots of details. They like the details of their story because that story is what's the important thing. And then you also have to listen to their stories because they're going to tell you stories, so that's how you are socially accepting them, is by listening to their stories. So, and then use positive requests. So pull them in and give them lots of attention. So this is different. They want a different kind of attention than the D's last week. They needed their ego stroked, whereas the I's need someone to listen to them and be become a part of their stories. So if you're communicating from, or if you're an I and you're communicating to someone else, limit your wordiness. Kind of dial back what you're saying and think about how many words that actually need to be used to tell that story. And then only include the vital information. We don't need to know where you went to college, how many beers you drank at that frat party in 1992. And then stop if you're interrupted. So you guys are telling stories. If you're talking to a D, they want to get things moving. If you're talking to a C, they just want the facts. If you're talking to an S, they just want things to keep the way they are. But think about where you are and allow yourself to stop if you're interrupted. And then start to use a softer tone of voice and try to stay on task. I know this is kind of hard, but try to stay on task. So kind of the bottom line for an I, if you're selling to an I, they're not buying your product so much as they are buying you and the relationship. So recognize that. You have to build that relationship, and they're going to buy from the person who they feel they want to invite to dinner and they want to have that relationship with. So what not to do if you're selling to an I? Don't cut them off. Or don't rush them. Let them tell their story. They need time to build that relationship and tell that story. So when your voice tone, be friendly and fun, because they're all about fun. They want to have a party. Buying that is going to be a party. They're going to celebrate that they bought something. Doesn't matter what it is, they're going to want to celebrate it. So they need gratitude from you. Thanks for buying this. I really appreciate it. Hey, you're doing great. So their mantra, trust me, it'll work out. That's the eternal optimist in them. And then if you're talking to them on the phone, their call length should be as long as they need. They're just going to tell you stories and stories and get through that. And how they buy? Celebratory. They're going to throw a party because they buy something. So, if you are an I and you're relating to a D person, so you got to have direct communication and deal with the issues in a straightforward manner. So if you're an I and you're dealing with another I, good luck. You're not going to get anything done, but it's going to be a lot of fun. Nothing happens though, all right?
It's a good time
It's
though.
a good time though. But be friendly, complimentary, acknowledge each other's accomplishments, listen sincerely to what they're saying instead of planning your next story you're going to tell them. And then if you're an I and you're dealing with an S personality, slow down. Be a little more easygoing, show appreciation and sincerity, and establish that friendship with the S. But don't be pushy. Telling that story over and over again is going to come on a little bit strong for an S personality. Now, if you're an I relating to a C, this is where it's going to get tough. Present the facts clearly. The C's just want the facts. So if you're an I, they don't want to hear your stories. They just want to hear the facts. And be prepared for discussion, because your C is going to ask questions. They're going to express doubts. And give them time to evaluate the data before making the decision. So if you're dealing with a C, just bottom line, give them the facts. So, I know this is a little different. I didn't have these up here. I can send out a cheat sheet. But what questions do you guys have about dealing with an I personality style? I think we got a good idea of how things are going over here. These are going to be your stereotypical extroverts, the life of the party. So.
I feel like if I ask a question right now, it'll take too long, so I'm just.
Want to hear about that one time?
But your eyes need to have fun. Make the selling process fun for them. Make whatever they're buying, make it fun for them, because they want to celebrate it. They want to enjoy it. So help them enjoy it. All right, that's it. Next week we'll talk about the S personalities.
Hey, I just wanted to say, guys, I posted a link on our Facebook page to where you can take it for free.
For free, I saw
Use
that.
like a junk email though, because they do send you a lot of emails even after you unsubscribe.